Hello, my lovies. Welcome back. It's Wednesday, which means another Gigi Says What Now. If you're new here, my name is Genevieve Gravel, and I talk trash about history. So, how about you like and subscribe? Or don't. Whatever you want. So, my 21st birthday, my friend and I, we were going to go into the city to go shopping for my birthday, and for some reason we pulled over in Berkeley. We didn't make it to San Francisco, but we were walking around and we walked into this tattoo shop and we're like, oh my god, let's get a tattoo. Okay, this was back in the 90s, and so I'm like, I have no idea what I want, but it's my birthday, let's just do it. And so the guy, he's like, okay, just pick something off the wall. And I'm like, okay, because I had no idea what I wanted, right? And so this other guy, he's like, don't ever go to someone that tells you to pick something off the wall. Come here. And so we sat down and he drew out a picture for me, and then he put it on me, and he was really cool and really sweet and awesome. I think he did a really good job. This tattoo was almost 25 years old. He only charged me $80 and I tipped him $20. So I walked out with a $100 tattoo for my 25th birthday. Now, so I'm almost 50 now. And I have 4 children. Some are grown and some are almost grown. And I believe, I truly and honestly believe paying an artist what they're worth. But, you know, spending the last 25 years of my life raising babies, I really couldn't justify the expense. If I could, my whole body would be covered in ink. But as I sit here now, I only have 7, and I don't consider myself tattooed or inked. With the 7 pieces I have, most of them are flash tattoos or garage tattoos. Garage ink, not the parlor, but actually from my friends' garages. Don't do what I do. But yeah, punk rock. So in case you haven't guessed it, today's episode of Gigi Says What Now is all about the history of tattoos. Tattooing is one of the world's oldest art forms. There are 4 of the world's oldest art form finds. We have number 4, the South American mummy, who is over 3,000 years old. She was found with a little mustache tattooed on her face. So cute. Coming in at our number 3 spot is the Siberian princess, found frozen in the Siberian permafrost, and she was found with inked skin. Her tattoos have been described as fantastic beasts. Now, number 2 and number 1, there's a little kind of argument between historians and archaeologists on who's older, but for the flow of this story, we're gonna say number 2 goes to Otzi. So Otzi is a 5,700-year-old mummy that was found with no less than 61 tattoos on his body, the majority of which were little lines and dots and dashes. Some people think that it was kind of a form of ancient acupuncture meant for pain relief. They would dot the little needles into his body and then rub some ointment or some charcoal, something with pigment in it to relieve pain, and that would leave him with the tattoos. But our number 1 spot today is going to the 2 pre-dynastic Egyptian mummies. Both female, they were found in 1896, and they had figural tattoos, meaning they had pretty pictures on their skin. Now today, those mummies can be found in... Guess, can you guess it? No, silly, not in Egypt. That's right, the British Museum. This filter though, I look like a floating head. All right, let's do this. In Egypt's Middle Kingdom, women and children both wore ink. They had pictures of sheep, bulls, baboons, and even hieroglyphs. So female figurines dating from 4K to 5K BCE that represented what was believed to be the world's oldest profession. Well, these little figurines had tattoos of little dots and dashes all over them, and they think that perhaps it was to prevent pregnancy or STDs. Now today we have condoms, so No glove, no love. I like this filter. Let's stick with this for a second, okay? Moving on. Moving on. Next page. The Ptolemy line. Now, the Ptolemy line, they really worshipped Isis. Like, they would actually take other deities and kind of morph them all into one. And anyway, Ptolemy the Fourth had ivy tattooed on his body in worship and devotion of the goddess Isis. In Thebes, a female mummy was found that was sporting 30 tattoos, each of such beautiful artistry that they rival the tattoos of today. But like, were they religious tattoos? Were they to ward off evil or to help her through the afterlife? I don't know. Maybe she just thought they were cool as fuck, you know what I'm saying? That's why I get tatted. I know the historians and archaeologists out there, like, what's she talking about? This is Gigi Says What Now? And in ancient Egypt, tattooing tools have been found dating back to 1450 BCE. The Tonga tools discovered in 1963 are 2,000 years old, and they did some testing on them, and guess what? They're made of bone. Human bone. In New Guinea, tattooing tools have been found that are 3,500 years old. Okay, so there's this one family, there's a documentary on YouTube. Just look up the oldest tattooing family. And this guy, his family has been tattooing for 700 years, just passing it down from one generation to the next. And this guy, he's the 27th generation, and he's currently teaching his kids that are to be the 28th generation. And they use stamps for their stencils. They use stamps that are hundreds of years old. During the Crusades, Christians were marked with a cross in ink in their skin, because this is about tattooing. Anyway, they were marked with a cross so that if they died in battle, they would be able to be easily identified and receive a proper Christian burial. This filter's really dark. Anyway, in 640, because I can talk. Anyway, in 640, some Christians were forced to convert to Islam, and they would be marked with a cross on their right wrist to identify them as Christian converters. So Constantine, the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity, he was in charge from 306 to 337 AD. He had the symbol of the Red King tattooed on him, and the Red King was said to be the symbol for protection. So the ancient Greek word for tattoo is stigma, and that means a mark of disgrace. There's actually a tattoo supply company called Stigma. Not sponsored, but you could sponsor me if you want to. Just kidding. Not kidding. A 5th century Greek vase was found, and on the vase it had a woman depicted being fully tatted, and her tattoos told the story of the death of Orpheus. During that time, the Greeks would mark the faces and the necks of their slaves to identify them. The Romans also used this practice with their slaves and their prisoners of war. The whore of Babylon had face tattoos that read, "Babylon the Great, mother of whores and earth's abominations." A Greek seer from the 6th or 7th century BCE. Yeah, okay, try to say that 5 times fast. Anyway, this guy was said to have the word of God tattooed all over his body. But the word tattoo that we use today comes from Polynesians. I don't know how to say it right, so I'm not gonna. But the Polynesians have been tattooing for over 2,000 years. Okay, so like, I have a stick and poke, see? Anyway, I know you're all are like, that's nothing. And you're right. It kind of is nothing, but it's kind of everything. It's actually my favorite tattoo. And the reason why it's my favorite tattoo is because my child, and don't come at me, my child is grown. Just because they're my child doesn't mean they're a child. Anyway, they were thinking about becoming a tattoo artist. And so we got them a bunch of supplies with, like, you know, all the fake skin and stuff just to practice and play around with and see if it was something they really wanted to do. But they wanted to practice on flesh. So I was like, here's my finger. And they tattooed a heart on my finger with a little stick and poke. And I love it. It's my favorite. Anyway, the Polynesian tools, though, they would have over 30 teeth. And these things were sharp, like designed to draw blood. Ouch. But it was like a rite of passage to get one of these tattoos, you know, strung like bull. What line does that movie even come from? So in 1769, this dude named Captain Cook came across some Polynesian islands, and he saw all these amazing tattoos, and he was like, yeah, I want that. I need that. Give it to me now. I want it, Daddy. I want it now. And guess what? What you ask for, you receive. And this actually turned out to be really super influential in the evolution of tattoos, particularly through the European and the Americas. Many royals throughout history have also been inked. King George V in 1881 had a Japanese dragon tattooed. Now, the Japanese dragon, I believe, means or is supposed to offer protection to the family name, or the house, something like that. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, let me know. But he wasn't the only one with a dragon tattoo. The girl with the dragon tattoo. And even, you know, Queen Victoria had a tattoo of a lion battling a dragon. Now, this woman, she was something else, wasn't she? She really liked the flat front of a pant. And so she had a device created to give men a flat front pant named after Prince Albert. If you know, you know. Which I guess that's kind of surprising to me because, you know, as an American, I learned my history from America, and the Victorian era always seemed so, like, Puritan-esque, like, particularly for a woman. If she had a mark on her body, she might be burned as a witch. You know, I mean, I know the Salem witch trials were 200 years earlier, but I kind of get that vibe from that era. And here's this queen over in England. She's got tattoos. Her man's got tattoos and piercings, and yeah. Oh, you know what else they did though? They totally, like, in the Victorian era, they like they found these birds, and they really liked these birds, and they made all these mattresses out of these birds. And I don't know why I'm laughing, because it's actually really sad. They totally made these birds go into complete extinction, and they no longer live today because they wanted to make mattresses. But even Winston Churchill's mom had a snake around her wrist. But this one kind of blew me away, and I don't know why. Like, I know the guy's a total D-bag, and I know, like, when you learn, like, okay, like 20 years ago I learned about, you know, Christopher Columbus being a total D-bag, and I was like, wow. And I think it was really eye-opening for me to realize and recognize that what we're taught in history in school is very one-sided. It's very full of shit and propaganda, and I think the same can be said for Andrew Jackson. So Andrew Jackson was really, you know, I mean, he was a colonizer at heart, and he was really into what he was doing, and he really had a disdain for the indigenous of the, what we now call Americas, you know, the whole Trail of Tears thing. Yeah, that was him. And he actually stole a baby once. Like, he had this entire indigenous family, you know, assassinated, and he took the baby and raised it as his own, and he did so all with a tomahawk tattooed on his inner thigh. Yeah, fuck that guy. So in conclusion, throughout all of known history. Everything we know of, everything that's been recorded, tattoos have always been there. So much so that we don't know a point of origin. We don't know who was first or when they were first, because it is literally all over the world through all recorded history, which means tattoos are genuinely forever. And besides, go get a tattoo. If you don't like it, it's okay. You could just get another one. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Gigi Says What Now? I will be back next Wednesday with something new. If there is something you would like me to talk about, just let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, I can't wait to see you again next weekend. Why can't I talk today? Next Wednesday, I will see you back here. Same back time, same back channel. And remember, until then, you are valid, you are worthy, and you are loved.